I'm really impressed it's still running this smoothly. I think once I zoom out, that's probably going to change, but I'm going to keep spawning zombies until Eden's cure is dead. Today, we're going to go big. This is what the game gives us to start with. This is what I'm going to attempt. 20 by 20, let's see what happens. And here we are. This looks adequately big. A little bit more water than I was anticipating. We can work on that. Using the biggest brush we possibly have, I'm just going to go ahead and fill in some of this water until there's not much water left. Now to most people, this probably looks like a big brown mess devoid of life, and they'd be absolutely right. But isn't it beautiful? We'll go ahead and unpause the game, the trees will start to take root, grass will grow, pretty soon this will be beautiful, then we'll sprinkle some life in there somewhere. Yes, for future reference, 20 by 20 is probably a little bit too big of a map. Just gotta apply some berries and some trees to the world, maybe a little bit of ore after that, then we'll be good for life. That should about do. If we zoom in on any of the areas, you can see it's full of trees, full of metal, full of ores, full of everything creatures need to live. Now we just gotta place some humans that have basic needs and some orcs that don't like humans. The trick for this is going to be trying to get an even amount of orcs and humans, at least to start so it's kind of fair. Because I don't really feel like sitting here and going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like a billion times, so we're gonna have to find a better way. So here's what I'm going to attempt to do. I'm going to turn on my macro that spawns these at a rapid rate, and I'm going to time it for 3 seconds. After that 3 seconds is up, I'm going to try and count how many orcs it dropped, and then I know how many I'm getting per second. Alright, after 3 seconds, we got this many. I just realized I don't need to count though. As long as I put an even amount of time into both humans and orcs, they'll have even numbers. So let's just take a moment to wipe this slate clean, and then we'll start fresh for both species. And there's going to be a lot of them after 60 seconds. Might have to go for something more like 30 because I don't think the game is going to like this. They make a nice perfect square though, that's amazing. It's only been 19 seconds, so we're only going to do 30. 30 seconds of pure orcs did that. The game seems to be handling it so far just fine. As they expand, I'm sure that's going to change. But they'll spread out from there, they'll make their base. They'll spread out pretty quickly. We're going to do humans in this other corner. They get to spawn near this berry bush, and we're going to let them start right now. And there's our humans. They even have a bit of a beach to work with, but they got lots of rocks, berries down over there. They got some trees over here if they want to try and migrate, but for now, they're going to stay in their corner. The orcs will stay in theirs. In like 1,000 years, they'll collide in their mega colonies. And amazingly, we've already got 3 separate orc villages because they didn't want to make friends. Our little single colony of humans is only at 1,244 people. The humans up here staying quite peaceful. We'll give them some trees and kill a bunch of them while we're at it. They're down to 1109. And as I was scrolling across the map, we've got a few colonies way out here somehow. Let's turn things up to speed 5 and just let them grow for a little bit. I come back a short few minutes later and there's only 163 humans left. So there's only one conclusion I could draw from that, and that it's I really suck at making worlds. The orcs are down to 163 as well. We'll take a good look at things now. I'm just going to let it run for a little while longer. We already had the big extinction, we'll call it, and we'll just see things expand for a while. Suddenly this colony is rapidly dropping in numbers, and I'm not sure why. I might have just had too many for it to be sustainable given their area. Probably the case because it leveled out again at 70. Which is starting to make me wonder if it's possible to make a super colony in this, or if they just kind of top out around 150, 200 people. So it's experiment time. Let's lay it on humans. Let's lay it on 500 humans right here to see how many we'll have in a few minutes. A bunch of them just left to go somewhere. A bunch of them are staying and hanging out. You'd think they would leave if they didn't have the space they need, but I don't really know how these idiots operate. And we're coming up on 500 right now. 505. We'll do the same with orcs, but it seems like they all land and just stand there on the edges and just wait to die. They should get to work or go find their own place to live. If I was 500 orcs, I could probably thrive right here. Here's an interesting idea too. I'll spread them out. If I drop them right here, they don't join in a village immediately. There's 55 there, but the undetermined amount over here are running all over the map to hopefully thrive. Not really sure if this is a good idea or not at this point, but they're all going somewhere, and that seems interesting to me. They're definitely going all over the place. I might have just boned the world in a bad way, or I might have just saved it, depending on where all these guys are going. And all this screwing around has led everyone else to thrive quite a bit, so there's lots of little villages popping up all over. The map at least is starting to get pretty full. We can do a lot better than this, but I'm really happy that at least they are spreading out. Some populations really don't last. This was originally 200 humans, it's all the way down to 15. Probably because of all the mountain space, but they chose to settle there, so way to go. Now, let's make a little turn with things. Since we're obviously not going to have one great giant empire at any one time, we're going to sprinkle a few people throughout the world. And of course, to be fair, we've got to do the same thing with orcs. The game at this point feels like it's pretty close to its limit. Everything is very slow to work. But now, when we zoom in, there's lots of little villages around. They probably won't last long, but some of them will. That helps to fill in some of the space on the map. Look how slow the game is working. I've just saved the game because I want to try something now. We might have to reload back to this point, but we'll see how this goes. I'm going to drop a simple 100 zombies right into this corner. You think 100 zombies is enough to take over the world, considering whatever they kill turns into a zombie? There are a total of 92 creatures right here, but if the zombies take them really quickly, they might actually turn all these into zombies and then it gets really big really fast. So we can definitely find out, and that's why I wanted the villagers all so close together. That way the zombies move from one to the next, hopefully efficiently without spreading themselves too thin. Anyways, I don't really know how to do 100 zombies. It's about 3 seconds, so that was probably a little bit more. But so far, as long as they're only fighting 1 or 2 at a time, they'll just overpower them really quickly. Then we get more zombies. I just realized it's probably a lot less than 100 zombies because the game's running so slow. 3 seconds at slow speed isn't 100 zombies. It's still quite a few though, we'll give it that. And if the neighbors continue running in 2 at a time, they'll get swarmed by 20 zombies. They'll die basically instantly. Then they'll become zombies. I like where this is going already. The zombies might be winning this round. We'll see. I don't really love the way they're spreading out already. We got one little cluster kind of moving in and they're doing alright, but they've got to be fighting things like 5 to 1. They've got to kill them quickly if they want to maintain their numbers. If they're fighting and trading basically 1 for 1, it's not really going to work, I think. They're taking over this village pretty quick, so... And I feel like we have more zombies than when we started, but some of them are just kind of doing nothing. It's looking pretty optimistic though. These guys are down to only 30, and that's going to drop fast due to the number of zombies here. So these will all become zombies and it'll spread from here. I think this might have ended the world. This is a slower approach than I normally take, but it's fun to watch it play out. They're still working way down in the corner where there's 13 people left, but they've still got to get through all of this if they want to succeed in taking over the world. I think they're gonna, because as they hit those little villagers, they should overrun them, turn into more zombies, and they'll keep spreading and spreading. But if this goes anything like I think it should, they'll just grow and grow exponentially, and they'll just start destroying things faster and faster. By the end, they'll just wipe out everything in a heartbeat. This village is down to 1 person to defend itself. 1 orc, and there it goes. Yep. Gonna defeat the zombie onslaught all by yourself. One last meal for you, friend. They definitely destroyed this place. There's 2 orcs left and there's a lot of zombies. I think there's more than when we started. And I think as they start to fight, yeah, it draws more zombies in, so that's perfect. As this one only has 35 people, so the zombies are absolutely going to destroy them. But good news, this village is up to 2 people. It has 3 zombies attacking it, so that one's kind of just messing with the house, but you get the idea. That big original village is officially dead, and they're moving into this one pretty quickly. I think this is basically what it's going to look like now. There's going to be 5, 6, 10 people in there fighting, but the zombies are just going to swarm them and overpower them, and turn those people into zombies themselves. Interestingly, I watched him kill the last guy in his village. He managed to kill 2 zombies before he died. If every little thing on the map managed to do that, the zombies would lose, but clearly that's not the case. Hey, look at that, we've even got some humans in here in York Village. Everyone's fighting the zombies, or each other. It doesn't really matter, that's just more food for the zombies. They'll do their best work, especially towards the end, when it's like 100 zombies versus 2 people, because they'll kill them instantly. That's a free 2 zombies for me. I mean, free 2 zombies for them. I'm not picking sides here, not at all. These orcs ran in from somewhere else. They were killing a lot of zombies, but the zombies all just swarm up together, and I really like the way they do that. It does draw them in together. The seeming downside to this idea is that the zombies don't necessarily spread themselves out very quickly. These ones spawned right here, and they're still down here in the corner. There's lots of delicious people out there for them to be eating, but they're hanging out basically where they spawned. Zooming out, you can see where the mass of them are. They're these little light green dots that just kind of hang out in this area so far. I'm hoping they get onto another village and that helps draw them in, though there's people coming from out here too. The other parts of this kingdom are maybe where there's a zombie problem, so they're sending some reinforcements. They're sending them too late and too few, I think. They'll probably get overrun by zombies and just turn into more themselves. And that's great. If they keep doing that, my zombie army gets bigger and expands out this way slowly till it hits another village. Although if they're fighting like this, that could do some damage to my army. They're fighting basically 6 on 1 normally, so the zombie dies right away before it does any damage. But as soon as they fight their way a little ways in, they're gonna get swarmed themselves. Now that I've wasted 15 minutes on the zombies, this is what the rest of the world looks like. Hasn't really changed much. A few of those small populations are building up a bit. I think I've determined this just isn't enough zombies. If they all moved in one big group from village to village, yes, it absolutely would be. But they don't do that. They kind of did that for the first village or 2, but now they're spread out so far that all the raiding parties coming in kill a bunch of them before they themselves get killed. So my zombie numbers are slowly going to dwindle from this point forward. And besides that, it's just taking a really long time because they're barely moving at all anymore. So we're going to start in a more central location, maybe Cavenson here, which is close enough to a few other villages, and I'm going to rain down like 1,000 zombies on it and see if that's enough to take over. It's not really a matter of if they can, it's a matter of if they can spread out far enough. Terribly sorry about this, but, well, I'm not really. Don't worry guys, it'll all be over soon. Oh, I thought the game broke for a second. It had a big leg spike. I know before 30 seconds was about 1,000 units. The game's running a little bit slower now, so we'll give it maybe 40 seconds. That should be about 1,000. Plus it'll make more zombies anyway. Now we have a bit better of a zombie army. I don't know how many there are that ran for a lot of seconds, but we'll just let them do their thing and enjoy the chaos. You know it's a decent amount when you can see it from this far out. Here come some of the raiding parties from the neighboring villages, but they're probably going to get overrun because the zombies are still pretty grouped up. Yeah, like these guys charging in right here, they're done very quickly. Plus, I don't know if they ever hit in the same zombie more than once. Yep, they're dead. More zombies for me. Until you can see them from orbit, it's just not enough. I would maybe help things out a little bit by making some bombs, but I'm worried about making any fires because that's going to slow the game down so much. Oh, did they take care of this village already? I wasn't even watching. Oh, this village got big though. There's a 200 population right here. I'm not really sure which direction the mob is going to move in. They might just kind of expand out from a central location in all directions. They do seem to be migrating more than the other ones. Like there's this whole row currently beelining for whatever this is. But up here we have another raiding party that's absolutely destroying single zombies. These ones have the right idea, but there's only like 8 of them, and they're moving towards a village it's way too big for them to be able to deal with. Unless they get in really quick and kill like all of these all at once and bolster their numbers, but I think they're gonna die because they did that really stupidly. They're zombies after all, so I don't expect much. And here comes some human and orcs kind of fighting on their way by. The zombies are close enough now that if you are trickling out of this place, I'm not really sure if they're winning or not. They seem to be retreating right now, but the zombies have to hit something that big with a lot of numbers, otherwise they'll be destroyed. These zombies gotta get their stuff together, they're just not organized enough. They seem to have this village up here on the ropes that I didn't even notice. Zagu has 7 people left. The zombies might take over that. And that's interesting because they got some places nearby, but any village like this is going to repel them pretty easy. Though I think they're going to have this place. These guys don't look so advanced. They look very small. I think my zombies are currently eating children, except for this one warrior. I better not be getting any zombie children out of this deal or I want my money back. I want full-size zombies only. But if the orc idiots keep sending raiding parties right into the massive zombies, that works to my advantage. I'll have forever zombies if they do this. To help put this into perspective, the zombies are basically in this area you see here. This is where the mass of them are. There are a few outside of that perimeter. This is the world I'm trying to get them to take over. That's massive still. They would have to spread so far to do it. They might still be able to, but so far it's very slow. They've definitely done some damage to this village too. It looks like they were repelled, but they did take a pretty good bite out of that. Plus they're also fighting with humans. These raiding parties are definitely getting the best of my zombies. They're starting to send them in larger groups. Like that was, I don't know, 20 orcs. And they hit like 1 zombie at a time, so they just absolutely destroy them. If they work their way into the mass, they'll get overrun, but they seem to not be doing that. They did successfully finish off those 2 villages though. Pretty surprised about that, but I don't see them really being able to take on a place with 150 people. I'm not really sure how this happened, but suddenly I have a whole swarm of zombies right here, which is in between my original spot of where I spawned them. I don't know how some got down here, how they spread so quickly, but that's optimistic. There's just a huge mass absolutely overrunning villagers. I don't know where these guys came from, how they multiplied, what they did to do it, but good on them because look at this swarm. So that kind of renews my hope for this whole zombie thing working because they do manage to spread around pretty good. Like I just had no idea these guys were here and multiplying. It might be due to this though, all the raiding parties coming in right into the mass and they just get overrun. There's an extra 5 zombies for me. They slowly come towards wherever the raiding parties came from and they expand. Definitely some bigger battles going on down here too. All those raiding parties come in though are going to deplete the villages. World update right now, lots of those little villages are thriving again. We had an all new village all the way up to 158, so a lot of them kind of boom and bust. All the villages everywhere freaking out. They're crossing paths, fighting each other on the way. I've got the occasional zombie out there making a mess of everything. The world is just in chaos right now. Seem to be having a pretty good migration of zombies here again. I'm not really sure what controls them or where they want to go, but occasionally they do mob up and move. They're working their way down to this village of only 20 people. Before too long, they'll get sucked into all that, destroy that, and that's another one. This looks like it might be the beginning of the end for this village. They'll probably repel this attack, but that should draw some other zombies in, and you know how it goes from here. And just like that, the numbers are starting to turn in my favor. They kept sending them out. Every once in a while I kill one, and just like that, zombies outweigh idiots. Not to mention the village is down to only 13 people, so they already lost half of their people trying to fight me. Yep, they're pretty much boned now. The number is a little bit laggy, but it's gonna drop pretty quick. At this point, it's pretty much just a steady stream of people coming in to try and fight the zombies. As you can see, it's not really working out for them because the zombies are pretty grouped up right now. But therein kinda lies the problem. They're keeping the zombies grouped up. They do need to be grouped up, but if they keep pulling them back inwards, they never spread out to destroy the other villages, and I want them to destroy everything. Alright, I've still got an idea. If I drop some zombies on this one, this is part of the Red Empire. There's a few other of those around, and there's some way out there in the world. If I take over that, that's going to cause some pretty big chaos, and especially because there's other red towns so close, that should hopefully spread the zombies out. I would say they're going to survive this, but they're not. Don't know how many zombies we need, so I'm just going to go till I feel like there's enough. Once the game starts like really lagging, I'll be happy. I'm really impressed it's still running this smoothly. I think once I zoom out, that's probably going to change, but I'm going to keep spawning zombies until Edin's cure is dead. There they go. They held out way longer than I thought they would, so no more zombies, relatively speaking, and we'll move on from there. The great zombie patch of my world. I really did expect these other red towns to offer assistance, being that they're 10 feet away and getting destroyed, but nope. They're just farming away while my zombies kind of wander aimlessly, so that's anticlimactic. I'm pretty confident at this point there is enough zombies on the map to destroy everything. They just don't really get the job done because they don't really have any focus. For some reason, they're grouping up down here. They seem to like to move down right. And they're also trickling into this village, and it's not going to take very much to take over it because it's only 19 people. I've got some bad news for the village of Dukak. They're about to be overrun by zombies and there's nothing they can do about it. Well, they're definitely starting to do some good work up in this village, and also this village down below that they're taking a huge bite out of. It's still pretty slow. Luckily, I never run out of ideas. This is Chepersk. It has 120 people, it's surrounded by trees, therefore very flammable. Therefore, if a dragon was in the area, that would probably be bad news for them. What would be even worse is 5 dragons. Unfortunately, the dragons take the zombie approach. They just start walking down to the right and don't really do anything. Except for this one loner up here who just started going up and to the right. Why do they migrate like geese? Can you guys maybe light something on fire for me? Anything at all? Well, while they're flying around doing nothing, let's check in on the other zombie patch down here. How's it doing? Looks like it might have actually dwindled slightly in size, but it's hard to tell. Definitely some pretty good populations out there now. A few of the villages naturally sprung up to over 200 people, and I had no part of that. These guys are basically done with the first village, so they're already moving on to the second. And that's okay, because the slow ones that are meandering in behind will take care of the rest of it. I need them to group up and attack like people one at a time. Okay, they flew to this island and started sleeping. That's what I get for bringing dragons in. They sleep. Interestingly, I think this village flooded. Didn't know that was possible. So great for them. They look like they're doing fine still. So the dragons now are flying back up to the left, except for this one who's stopping probably to take another nap. So they flew down to the right, had a nap, flew back up to the left. He had a nap and started getting attacked. Finally, we have some action. He was just sleeping while everything was killing him. That should start to light things on fire and slow the world down in a bad way. Yep, but at least we're finally getting some results. And that's interesting because that's also where I spawned the dragons in. So they flew away, had a nap, came back, then attacked. Not sure how strong they are, but they're definitely going to burn everything pretty badly because I don't think these guys can put fires out. That's okay, they probably didn't need all that real estate anyway, that's too much room for them. And it looks like we might have another fire on our hands. I can't quite tell yet, but I suspect everything here has burnt. So between 6 dragons and the zombies, that's probably going to be enough to finish the world because the fire should spread out. Probably kill a lot of my zombies, but mostly everything else. Well, the fires are spreading slowly but consistently, so that should be pretty much the end of the world by itself, but we'll see how far it gets. Like, Chepersk actually survived that somehow with not very many people. And the dragons are still flying around, surprisingly. I think it's probably going to be pretty hard to kill them. Whoops, I just spawned more dragons. That's what that sound is. The biggest natural village seems to be this one at 252 people. And that's interesting because the zombies were in their doorstep for a while and definitely took some of their numbers. Since these guys are doing so well, let's add a worm. Crawls underground and messes up the landscape. I'll take 3, please. Well, that's pretty interesting. They make like rocks or hills as they go and completely destroy the land above it. And I don't know how these guys survived. The whole thing burned, and I don't know if they're going to make it or not. They look like they're rebuilding slowly despite the fact that everything got burned. Or are they? They'll be fine. They still got a few houses. How big was this one again? Pretty good size overall. Still goes to show how big the world is exactly, because it made a crater that big. That's like 1/50th of the world. Actually more like 100th, maybe not even that big. And the game isn't really loving all the fire that's going on. It's having trouble keeping up. Oh, did I land at my zombie patch? I might have just killed a lot of zombies. That's not a big deal at this point because they're just not really doing much of anything anymore. They just sit here in a big mass and enjoy life. I need to test something. I need to see if the meteorite was what wiped out everything on the map. I don't think the game is loving this very much. The antimatter bomb, that's what I was thinking of. Because we need to make the map a little bit smaller, and I think using his bomb is probably going to be the way to do it. There we go, I just gotta drop like 1,000 of these, and the map's gonna disappear and the game's gonna speed up. Definitely couldn't be much slower, but that's probably because of the pretty big fires that are going on. Not sure how much the game is gonna love this either, but it's gonna clear up some space for it. At least I think that's how that works. Hard to do a real thorough job with these from so high up, but we'll just drop more bombs and it'll all work out eventually. Even this is incredibly slow right now. Now it's removing pixels while spreading fire, so it's basically doing the same thing twice. You know what they say though, when all else fails, you put the bowling balls on the job. At least they're quick to land. Look at them go. Bouncing all over the world. There's the leg spike. And we'll zoom in just a second to see exactly what these are doing. Oh yeah, they blow up when they're done. I forgot about that part. That's going to slow the game down. Look at them all popping like popcorn now. That's fun. The world's so big though, I don't think I'm really even hitting anything with the bowling balls. At least not yet. This stupid village that has eluded my zombies for so long. Have a bowling ball. Have a few of them. Yeah. How does it feel now? Repel the zombies, you get bowled. That's actually killing them really quick. Look at the population dropping. These haven't even started exploding yet. Yeah, there they go. Zoom out just a little bit so we can see. And yeah, that probably took out half my zombie army too. So great. Those definitely are just a lot of fun though. Fires are getting pretty bigger. I don't like how they can survive the fires. That's not fair. What about this major city? Would you like a volcano? It could be a tourist attraction. Then come see all the burned people. And once again, I wasn't wearing my thinking cap because this is going to make a lot more fire again, isn't it? I mean, I'm no scientist, but I suspect that's how these things work. Basically, everything does better than my zombies. I think this is more thorough as a fire too, because it has all the lava, and that's going to kill all the creatures on the ground. And there's all the bowling ball explosions that are making fire too, so this whole world is definitely going to burn. My zombies, I don't really know how they're doing. There's a patch of them over there. There used to be a patch of them in here, and I just don't care anymore. You know what? I really thought I could make the zombie idea work, but it turns out I need to do it on a much more condensed map. I figured I'd be able to clear most of this with the population, but I just couldn't do it. I would have to take so much time to fill this in. I don't even know if that's possible. Next time we'll try a smaller map and a more fun idea. Like, this map's actually so big that dropping atomic bombs all over it, they're still surviving because I can't hit them all because it's so big and sparse. What happens if I use my macro to do the bombs? Oh, that's much better. Won't miss anything this way, not one little bit. It definitely can't keep up, but pretty soon this whole screen is going to be explosions, and I can't wait. If anything survives this onslaught, they deserved it. The computer didn't appreciate that, but I call this another successful world.